Hey, good evening. It is April 14th, 2020, day 14 of the April Zazoo Plazz video challenge. And I am Leslie Plazz speaking to you tonight. I am the author of The Audacious Adventures of Zazoo Plazz, part-time superhero, full-time mom. And I almost didn't know what to talk about tonight. I was reading the book and I said, okay, tell me what I should talk about. I was looking at Zazoo and then it just hit me. And usually it's some combination of what's been going on social media, things that are just kind of in the air, and things that are just bubbling up in the moment. When I sit here in my chair and have a chance to think in my quiet part of the house, Jack just ran off to a fire. It was some kind of a fire. The siren went off, grabbed his stuff and took off. So at the same time, I can kind of smell somebody's got a fire pit fire going, so there's a lot going on. And then I said, I'm appreciating my sense of smell. And looking at Zazoo, I realized today that's what I'm going to talk about. And it's perfect. You see her nose? If you could see Zazoo's nose, it's kind of it's like my nose. It's prominent, a little rounded, but it fits with the rest of her face. And there's a story, of course, there's a story behind everything on Zazoo. But my illustrator was originally had her nose, Zazoo's nose, kind of pointy, and it looked a little witch-like. And I said, you know what, that's not, maybe we can round it a little. And it was just a sketch, so she was, sure. And what she came up with was perfect. It just required a little tweaking, and it really, I think it really kind of looks like my nose. And I know it's a schnoz. It's a big clump of flesh, but there's a reason, and there's even like a little bump. There's a little bump. Because my sense of smell is very acute, and that is why she's got that big nose. Yesterday, for some reason, it was raining, and I've been in touch with some of my cousins on my dad's side of the family, the Bilodeau cousins, and they started posting. My younger cousin, she started posting pictures. Her high school yearbook picture, and she's like, oh, for the seniors who are graduating, I think her daughter is a year younger than Jack, so she's a sophomore, but in honor of the graduating high school seniors, a bunch of people have been posting their own high school pictures from the 80s and mostly 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I put mine up there, and she put hers up there first, and I said, oh, obviously I didn't inherit the cute nose gene of the family, because she's got a cute little button nose, and it goes with the rest of her because she's beautiful. She's about 8 years younger than me. Beautiful, and still gorgeous. So I admitted, hey, you hit the jackpot. And of course, our genes are, as cousins, we've got both sides of the family, so maybe the nose came from her mom's side of the family. Whatever case, I said, you're gorgeous. And immediately she's talking about her nose and talking about how it looked then versus how she looks now, and of course she's probably more gorgeous now. So I said, oh, come on. But it made me kind of think, I think there's a lot of pressure on women, and there's always been. And perhaps most of the pressure comes from ourselves, when we look in the mirror, do we say, I am perfect just as I am. I am a perfectly created individual. And do we express that to ourselves and nurture ourselves? I'd say, a lot of times we don't. And I'll be the first to admit, oh man, we spend hours looking in the mirror, right? And maybe this quarantine is a good time to just, go a little easy on ourselves. And one thing I have noticed is I feel that when I nurture myself in other ways, I feel more beautiful on the outside. When I honor myself, go to bed early, and give myself enough rest and the food I need and the things I need to thrive, creative time, it seems to flow outward. And I definitely think, especially since passing 50, I definitely feel like, we women, we're all beautiful. But after a certain age, we're like, you know what? I feel pretty good about myself, and we start making the most of our good points and ignoring the things, letting things sort of slide off that we used to really get upset about, and we're more confident. And I think the confidence, comes out in a healthy way, and it makes us more attractive. So, if you're watching this and you're like, if you've been hard on yourself, this thing is always going around Facebook, post a picture of yourself and say, you know what, we're all beautiful, and we should embrace who we are, and that's an awesome thing. I think of a few years ago, one of my favorite actresses, the poor woman who was in Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey, who's gorgeous. She's gorgeous, beautiful actress. And she was insecure about her nose a little bit, and she had her nose fixed, and she's since said that was probably a mistake because she didn't look the same after, And I look at her in Dirty Dancing, I think, oh man, that nose is just, that was her, that was baby, And she's still beautiful, and she's still the same talented actress, but her nose is different. So when we look at her, it's unfortunately the first thing we notice is, oh man, her nose is different. And that's too bad, because, we're all perfect divine beings, and in human bodies, and these human bodies are imperfect, right? I mean, there's no such thing as perfection. You gotta work on the inside. Work on the inside. Never mind the nose. Whatever. God gave you that nose. Rock it. Rock the nose. It's just the right nose for you. Right? So, anyway, I wrote this book, some of these stories, 2 years ago, and it seems to me how appropriate they are. There's this chapter called Cleaning Troubles, Oil, and Grumbles. And I'm talking about how my husband got me a diffuser, one of those sort of a mushroom cap-like contraption, and you put water in it, and you can put all these different, like, essential oil things in there, and make it smell like different. So I talk about, at first I cranked it full blast in the downstairs powder room opposite my office in the career bagua of the house to neutralize the detrimental effects of having 3 males visit it on a regular basis. For that purpose, it really didn't matter what kind of oil I used as long as it smelled pleasant. Plus, it was cheaper and more sustainable than buying those little twist-open air fresheners at the dollar store, which my son's music teacher cleverly repurposed to muffle his trumpet. So, it goes on from there as my adventures with essential oils and different cleaning products, which is very relevant at this time because we're all cleaning, right? Trying to get everything smelling good and sanitize. But the ironic thing about that, mentioning those little renews it things that you know swivel open. My younger son's he used to take the trumpet, and his teacher would take the little caps, the little twisty things, and he would shove it in the end of the trumpet to go wah wah wah, make that sound. But when my older son came back from college for this quarantine, he apparently in his dorm room he had been using those little, like these raspberry renews it twisty things, and he had a whole case of them, and he's got them everywhere. He's got them in his bedroom, in the basement, everywhere, and it's like, it's very strong. It's a pleasant scent, and they're good when you're living in a house full of guys, college guys, but it's a little overwhelming because I'm very sensitive to scents. So I said, do you think you could maybe twist them a little less? Maybe take 1 or 2 and just put them in your room, and because I'm not used to it. It was overwhelming. So he, yeah, he's still got a couple of them here and there, but I guess I've gotten used to it. But when he first came home, it was like, it's like Snoopy. So, I have interesting adventures with my nose. But anyway, I put that thing about the twisted things in the book, not even knowing that this was going to all happen, and it was going to be part of my life at this time. It's almost like it kind of funneled through some kind of tunnel and came into the book. So every day I find a new thing or two that, oh, there's Charlie, that really applies to this period of time, and I'm starting to wonder, wow. Yeah, I know. So anyway, that's my report for today. I made chicken fajitas, and hopefully there's some left for me. Cake is just about all gone. It was delicious. Ice cream cake, which is the only kind of cake. Well, no, not really. My son enjoyed it, and we all had a good time. So, till tomorrow, I'm going to sign off. My lovely nose. Till tomorrow, day 14, Zazoo Plazz. Another day down, just about halfway through the month. Half of April down, half to go. Thank you for joining me at the Zazoo Plazz video party. Take care. Be well. Light, love, and laughter to you and yours. Bye-bye.